A long while ago, I did research on Gog and Magog, and I thought it was very interesting, all the connections to Gog and Magog that are in London, and it's very interesting showing all the details of that. But I wanted to, I did a video about Mongolia and how a lot of those people in Mongolia had come to the area of Ukraine and all of this. But there was an article in Israel 365 News a while back, and it said, as the Gog and Magog implications of the Russian invasion of Ukraine become clear, more previously hidden clues are coming to light. The blogger, writing under the pseudonym Yankev, reported on several such clues. One such clue was discovered in the book Sfresrechen, Sirens of Grace, written by the mystic rabbi Noach Gad Weintraub, 1888 to 1954, who cited a long line of distinguished rabbis who taught that God would save the Jews from Russia, which would eventually become the head of the Gog and Magog alliance that comes against Jerusalem in the end of days. In another esoteric book, Rabbi Weintraub states that Ukraine derives its name from Ekron, one of the 5 cities of the Philistines, and that the people themselves descend from Philistines who migrated there. Yankev added that the name Ekron contains the root letters of Ukraine as well as Corona and also the recent variant Omicron. If so, then the invasion of Ukraine was predicted by the prophet Zephaniah. Indeed, Aza shall be deserted, and Ashkelon desolate. Ashdod's people shall be expelled in broad daylight, and Ekron shall be uprooted in Zephaniah 2:4. And Yankov also wrote a teaching in the name of Rabbi Yehushael Yehuda Hammerstein, the founder of the Sans Klausenbury Hasidic dynasty. He said, once when my grandfather, the Transer rabbi, spoke about the Russians, he said about them that before the coming of the Mashiach, or Messiah, they will pay for the sins of the fathers and the sins of their forefathers, and they will be attacked and ripped to pieces, meaning they will unite with the sons of Ishmael, and they, Ishmael, will pay for the sin of their fathers. Well, the Bible states that that's not a requirement for the descendants necessarily. Most rabbis identify the sons of Ishmael as the Arabs and Muslims. In their invasion of Ukraine, the Russian military has pressed the Chechen Muslims, notorious for their brutality, into service as shock troops. Yet another clue was attributed to Rabbi Salman Mutza, in 20th century Jerusalem mystic born in Baghdad, and he said, my father, my teacher, said that it seems from all the holy books that the kingdom of Gog is the state of Russia of our days, as it is situated in the north of the world and rules over different nationalities and ethnicities and ancient tribes, including the Amalekites, the Canaanites, Gypsies, and others from the 70 nations, and they are the ones who will come with their extensive military forces to Israel, and in the land of Israel they will fall and be destroyed. Now, I did a study on that, and it has been known that Magog and that Gog was this giant, and these 2 giants are in the city of London. The mayor, what do you call it? They have this parade, and I showed it. They also have these 2 ancient English oak trees that are called Gog and Magog, because the giants Gog and Magog were said to do battle there and were overthrown. So this is very interesting. You know, Britain is also, you know, considered part of the North. So it would be really interesting to see what happens, especially if King Charles III is something that they accept as their anointed king, since he's anointed with the holy oil from Jerusalem, and if they sign up to be members of the Commonwealth to make peace with the Palestinians. Because the Palestinians, as I discovered in an article, as well as Israel, have thought about applying to be part of the Commonwealth, and that would put the king as their king over them. And they already have an agreement of trade and tech with the UK that went out in March for 7 years, and it included the peace and security of Israel. I'm not saying that that's the 7-year treaty, because I truly believe it's the covenant with many, and that there's going to be different parts of it. And part of the part that includes the 7 years would be part of the written part of it, where they not only sacrifice the red heifer to strengthen their covenant that they've had with God, but that there's going to be something that will allow them to build the temples so they can do the sacrifices at that time. And we just don't know what that is at this time. So I thought I would share this article about Gog and Magog. And I also had talked about, when it says that they would cover the land like a cloud. And I really truly believe that that's talking about drones. And Iran was selling drones to Russia. So if they come in and cover the, sky like a cloud, that would definitely be fighter drones in my mind. And I reported about that a long time ago. But I wanted to share a few of these things and see, what you thought about it and all. And keeping you posted on what's going on. So it says in another article, indeed, Russia has been identified as the threat from the north by other prophecies as well, when describing the participants of the pre-Messiah war of Gog and Magog. Ezekiel warns of the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. Now we know these places are in Turkey. So some of the Mongolians settled in different regions. And there's a huge connection to Gog Magog with the king in London. So this will be real interesting to see what happens. Now, in the Hebrew, the word chief is Rosh. Interestingly enough, Rosh is a word that was connected by David Sheen, who reported about the ugliness of the Sanhedrin, and they had a pseudonym for them called Rosh. Did you know that? I bet you didn't know that. So the Sanhedrin that's wanting to persecute other Jews, and their belief and the way they worship in Judaism, they don't like them and think that they should perish, as well as other Gentiles. It says that the word Rosh is similar to the word Russia, as we've heard that all of our lives pretty much, and has been interpreted by many to refer to Russia. Well, what if it's not? And indeed, just as Goldman, a modern political pundit, linked the Russian invasion of Ukraine to tragic military collapse of Israel, Jewish sources also link Israel's fate to this conflict in the far north. The prophecy was originally made by Rabbi Elijah of Vilna, also known as the Vilna Gaon, and Jewish scholar from the 18th century, is well known for his contributions in understanding the Messianic process. The prophecy was handed down from father to son and was revealed just a few years ago by Rabbi Sternbuch, the great-grandson of the Vilna Gaon. The announcement of the Messianic revelation, originally publicized by Rabbi Lazar Brody, stated, "When you hear that the Russians have captured the city of Crimea, you should know that the times of the Messiah have started, that his steps are being heard. And when you hear that the Russians have reached the city of Constantinople, today's Istanbul, you should put on your Shabbat clothes and don't take them off, because it means that the Messiah is about to come any minute." But I think it's interesting that Gog and Magog are well steeped in the city of London, and they have the old oak trees, and King Charles III stood by the old ancient English oak tree. Two of those are 2,000-year-old English oak trees named Gog and Magog. I did a whole video about it and how it was called the Lord Mayor's Parade. And they have these wicker giants called Gog and Magog that are within the City of London building, and they bring them out and parade them around. So England is considered the North as well. So I think that that's an interesting thought, that if he became their king and then started the sacrificial system with the red heifer ceremony, that he could put a stop to it halfway through the 7-year plan that he made with the Jews, so that they could do the sacrificial system and put an end to it and stop it. So this could be what brings the big conflict in the middle of the 7-year time of Jacob's trouble. And that would be Gog Magog coming from London and all of those connections. So I think it's really interesting. This title in Israel 365 seems to indicate Jeremiah prophesied Israel's threat from the north is Ukraine. So anyway, I did some videos about the Gog and Magog and did a huge research on this. So you can take what I said and ponder it, and it's all very interesting. Like, subscribe, and share. Please support my channel work. I really need the help, and pray for God to open doors for this ministry to move forward. And I want to say, if you want to donate anything, it's paypal.me/KKROCOCO. The donation address is Kimberly K. Ballard, B-A-L-L-A-R-D, P.O. Box 246, Niwot, N-I-W-O-T, Colorado is CO 80544. And also my huge volume of Revelations of Jesus the Messiah for the Last Days. It's a very large coffee table sized book, very well edited, with only the best and premium revelations in it. And it's available at olivepresspublisher.com and other bookstores, but that's the best place to buy it, where you can get the best price on it from my publisher. And just look for the banner that says the almond tree on her page on olivepresspublisher.com. All right, guys. Well, interesting stuff in the news. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for joining me tonight.